Okay, good morning. It's day 6. Yesterday was our first day of the core ILT meetings, those international leadership team meetings for the University of the Nations. We're going to be having a bigger meeting coming up in another day or so. It is called the Turtle. It's because we're pulling together several different groupings into one larger grouping. So we're going to have the various committees of the colleges and the centers and the president's gathering and the provost group and all together. And during these days, we just have the deans and center leaders, international center leaders and international deans and provost, and that team for our top leaders in the university. It's yesterday was basically a day of reporting, getting caught up with each other, and rather than get into a lot of that with you, because some of it's kind of closed meeting stuff. But it was good to hear personally from friends that I've walked with for a number of years. Our personal stories are just as important as our work. And so we had good time with prayer with each other as well. And it's always encouraging to walk with colleagues over a long period of time and share each other's story, even though you're oftentimes very distant from one another. And I think that's kind of the advantage of this little video blog I've been putting out this week, because many of you are friends and walked with me in my journey for many years, and you know a little bit about some of our challenges and some of the victories that we've experienced, some of the breakthroughs. And maybe, it's difficult for you even to see those breakthroughs or even those challenges. So hoping that I can start to do a better job of communicating, help you to get a little closer, a little more personal with you. Let me kind of quickly review how I even got involved in this university. So, you're more connected with what this series of meetings is all about. Why go to the other side of the world to sit in meetings all day long with a bunch of people, and what does that have to do with world missions? Well, it was in 1987 that I was leading a school of evangelism, one of the leaders, and I was up in the mountains of Peru. We, as a team, planted a church and worked in business and worked in education and worked in construction and worked in all kinds of, ministries, including translation and pastoral support and encouragement in churches. And I came away from that time convinced that I needed to mobilize others. I needed a lot more workers to do what we were doing, that I could pour my life into one community, and many have that kind of call to go deep. But my sense of calling is very wide and also deep. I wanted very much to go, and I still want very much to send people that are more skilled than I am, and to equip them with a notion of calling and get them to understand that God has called them. There's no calling without a caller, and so it's about relationship with God, and it's about walking in His favor, knowing the grace of God on your life to do what He's prepared you to do, what He's made you for. So it's the most enriching, most fulfilling thing that a person can do, is to do the very thing that they were created for. And ultimately, God's will and dream is that every nation would be presented with and witnessed or becomes witness, bringing their gifts, their unique cultural expressions of worship before God. And that there would be an exchange between nations, not just remaining separated, but that we would have cross-cultural engagement as part of the new heaven and the new earth, that we would rejoice in neighbors and friends that are from all over the world. So this whole idea of mobilizing students to the nations and to their vocations has become my passion. I wrote a paper about it during the fall and the early winter of in 1988, and that paper fell into the hands of a few people, and I got a call early in '89, and I was invited to go to Kona, Hawaii, to run the internship program for just a couple of years, and I fell into fellowship with the leaders of the mission and of the pioneers of the University of the Nations. And these are longtime friends, and we share a very similar vision. And so just the seriousness of saying, and the audacity and the humility of saying, I want to be a part of God's great dream. I want to fulfill His purposes in my generation, and I'm willing to give myself to it in every possible way. To walk in fellowship with these kinds of folk is the richest way to live. It's the most wonderful thing. I'll live in financial poverty in exchange for what I'm having in walking in fellowship and work, witness with men and women who are committed to the lordship of Jesus in every possible way. And that kind of lordship gives freedom to people, gives honor and dignity to every people, including helping them to realize their God-given call, that there's no better way to live than to be doing the very thing that God made you for. So I'm in fellowship with a bunch of leaders, and many of them have pioneered works around the world. And in this group of about 20 people that are meeting this week, or these few days, there's several hundred years worth of extraordinary service that I'm sharing with. Pardon me while I cross the street. I know this is getting rather long, probably should sign off for today. I wanted you to hear a little bit about why I'm even at these meetings. Soon, my international committee is going to be joining me, and we'll be pressing in to the words of the Lord, sharing our story with one another and considering the way forward as a center for student mobilization. Our leaders coming to this meeting are from China, from Colombia, from India, and from Texas. I think I might be missing somebody, but we're a good representation of the work that we're doing. These are extraordinary leaders doing extraordinary work around the world, and it is an honor and a privilege to be serving alongside them. So, I'll sign off for today. Hopefully I can give you more tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.